Hello and welcome back into our next session. And apparently, the sun has come out to attempt to make me just vanish into a very bright light in that moment. Thank you for joining us for our third session today. Do jump into the chat because we've already got some people joining us from South Africa and from Yorkshire. Those are fairly different locales. I like that. We're pretty well spread out. Jump in, let us know where you're joining from, what you're looking to get out of this session, what you've got out of the day so far. But I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to get out of the way. And Oyindamola, the stage is yours.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Tom, for this opportunity. This is my first time of speaking at the IDTX conference and also my first time of attending. So I'm super, super excited to be here and to have you all here. I'm just going to share my screen. There you go. Yes, I have just a very short exercise for us right now. I wanted to mention in the chat one community that you belong to. No, not in the chat, sorry. You need to scan this QR code and mention one community you belong to and how you have benefited from being part of that community. And while I wait for you to do that, I'm just going to quickly share a bit about myself. About myself, just to tell you a very short story. So I used to be an event designer for over a decade. And one of the things that happened to me when I was in this role, in this career as a solo entrepreneur, was that I believed very, very much in myself and my ability to succeed on my own. I didn't think there was any need for me to join any community. There was an association of event planners and event professionals in my country. By the way, I'm from Nigeria in Africa. So I thought I didn't really need to join anyone. I was afraid to ask questions. I was afraid to ask for help when I needed it because I thought it was going to make me look like I didn't know what I was doing. And, fast forward to years after, I started finding out that when awards were being given, when recognitions were being given, people that started after me, people that when I look at their work were not as good as mine, were getting all these recognitions. Excuse me. And one thing I realized was because I wasn't these people were part of communities. They knew, they could ask for help. They had much support. And of course, many of them got, faster growth than me because they were part of the community. They had people to mentor them. I didn't have a mentor and I was struggling for a long time. So I'm just going to check now the result of this this activity that I just gave us. I hope we've been able to participate. Oh yeah. So I'm going to share the results. Great. So I can see people saying L&D Shakers, the Learning Network, eLearning Designers Hub, Asian Community. And I believe one of the things we have been able to achieve or gain from being part of these communities will be increasing your network, fellow IDs sharing info. We've been able to help one another, increased in my skill. Beautiful. I mean, these are wonderful experiences that, okay, I see there are more coming in. Yeah. So learning technology, yeah, great. ATD, beautiful. Please tell me more benefits that you have experienced from being part of these communities. Please, I would like to know. Fellow IDs sharing information. Yeah, it's great to see the Learning Network in there. I mean, talking about the Learning Network, I belong to the Learning Network and I have greatly benefited from the mentoring program there. Fantastic. So I'll move on from that. Let's move on from that. I'm going to share my slide again. Give me a moment to share my slide. Great, great, great. Waiting for it to come up. Okay, I've just shared my slide. I'm not sure if it's showing. I can't see it from here. Anyway, mentorship professionals, great to see. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So talking about being a member of a community, like I said earlier, being a member of the Learning Network, I have gained great and wonderful things being part of that. I'm not sure, can you see my screen? I would like you to confirm. Okay, great, it's come up now. Thank you. So, just a little bit about myself. And before I talk about myself, I would like to give us, a brief of the session overview. I'm going to be talking about myself, how my community is championing e-learning in Africa, and partnership opportunities, and then we'll have our reflections. So about me, my name is Oyindamola Ojo-Eriamiatoe. Like I said, I'm from Africa. I'm from Nigeria, proudly Nigerian. I'm representing that with the attire I'm wearing now. Hope you love it. So I'm the Chief Learning Officer at Bekamola, where I offer freelancing learning design solutions to organizations. I have experience of over 10 years adopting learning to generate revenue in different ways and to increase employees' performance through strategic learning design, leading to customer satisfaction and revenue increase. I am also a member of the board of directors of the Learning Network. I'm the event director of the Learning Network. And lastly, I'm building a community. I'm a community builder. I'm building a community known as the eLearning and Instructional Designers Hub Africa. I love coaching. I love mentoring. I design bootcamp experiences. I love facilitating. I love cohort-based learning because it's, despite the fact that COVID pushed us from face-to-face learning, cohort-based learning helps us to still have that short social, elements to learning, because people really love to socialize while learning. And I'm very, very passionate about professional development in the industry, which is the reason I started the eLearning Network. So I'm also going to tell you a bit about my journey before I talk about the initiative that I'm running in Africa. So I started my learning experience, learning professional experience as an instructor at the Nigerian Naval Base when I was having my compulsory 1 year service. After you have your first degree, there's a 1 year compulsory service that you have to be involved in. And I tutored in electrical electronics engineering, which was the course that I had for my first degree. It was such an amazing experience for me. And at the end of my service, after 1 year, I got a gift from my students, thanking me for how well I'd impacted them. I didn't really know I impacted them that much, but I know the curriculum we had then was very not so user-friendly, just more like PDF. And for an engineering course, there was need for practical. So I came up with extra tutorials for them. I came up with practical sessions that helped them to understand the subject better, and they were able to do well. So that was one impact that I made that helped, that they really appreciated, and they appreciated me for it. So I proceeded to being a business development executive at an IT organization. And after a while, I became a solo entrepreneur in event design and interior design. And I also used to conduct boot camps to help people gain skills in event design. And after that, COVID hit, fast forward to 2020, that was over a decade of being an event professional. COVID hit and I wanted to transition into tech. So I started doing research here and there, and I stumbled on e-learning design. I stumbled on how to create online course. Of course, what I wanted to do then was to just find a way to make money. And I learned tech is where the money is, So and one of the things I discovered at that time was that there were a lot of people too who were business owners that were greatly impacted by COVID, and they were looking for opportunities. So I organized a webinar for 6 weeks, a 6 weeks webinar in which I got different subject matter experts to talk about how to build soft skills and how to build some technical skills, some tech skills as well, especially website design. And that website design course, happened to now become a course that I started teaching people, that I created a learning experience, a learning design around it, to now have an online school as a techpreneur. Fast forward to after that, 2021, I came to the UK in September to have my master's in management and entrepreneurship. After that, I got a job as an LMS administrator based on my experience in my online school, administering my learning management system, creating courses. And after that, I started e-learning design as well. I enrolled in a school, the Digital Learning Institute, and I got a higher diploma in digital learning design. And right now, I'm using these skills to create learning experiences for organizations. I'm also working with a particular organization now as a freelancer, designing their bootcamp experience for them. And talking about community building, oh, sorry for this typo, that brings us to my next slide, which is talking about, if you notice in the last slide, all the pieces of the puzzle were all scattered, in different colors, talking about my career path and what I've been doing, and all of this experience that I've gathered from all the jobs that I've been involved in and my career path, being a project manager in my event design, being a team leader, designing spaces, being an LMS administrator, doing e-learning design. These are skills that have helped me to come together, putting the pieces together. Now I deliver learning solutions and I'm championing e-learning in Africa. That's a bit of a summary. I'm really rushing it because of time. A summary of my experience and my journey, which brings me to the main purpose of today's talking to us about championing e-learning in Africa. So, and that is the eLead Hub, the e-learning and instructional designers hub that I am running as a community. This is a community where we have L&D professionals in Africa come together to learn about new trends, to learn about, to build their skills through workshops. And we are going to be having our first conference in May very soon. And that is what the e-learning design hub is about. And what made me to come up with this community, to come up with this initiative, was the fact that I did, based on my experience before coming to the UK, and now seeing how e-learning design should be done up to global standard, and also relating with a lot of learning and design heads in organizations. Quite a lot of organizations in Africa have been doing research. I've come to realize that there's a lot of need to develop L&D capabilities. And there are a lot of challenges that are being faced in the adoption of technology to enhance learning design. People prefer face-to-face learning because of the incentives that is involved. Coming from Africa, I don't know if that happens there. For you to get people to be involved in learning initiatives, there has to be incentives, because people just won't, you just say that you are struggling to get them to attend the classes, and people are used to this. And for that reason, people are not really open to adopting technology, in terms of learning experience. We have the issues of infrastructure, internet availability. At times when people are not in the office, the internet that they have may not be as strong, the bandwidth may not be strong enough for the learning to take place the way it should be. We also have the challenges of technological competencies, especially among the demography of older generation. They believe they are professionals, they believe they know what they are doing, they are good at what they do. And there's really no need for them to be involved in learning, not to not talk of technology, which to them is a big deal. I mean, there's a lot of focus on certifications. We have people going for, the CIPD certification and the equivalent of it. People are involved, people love to attend learning programs where there is facilitation face-to-face. And one of the things that, and there's also commitment to continuous career development by organizations that I know very well. And one of the things that I've realized that in the adoption of technology to enhance learning, there is most organizations are tending towards getting an LMS, a learning management system, and just uploading the content that they had earlier. So what happens to the analysis of the learners, understanding their learning needs, and making sure that it's aligns with understanding their learning needs, understanding their technological competencies, their learning gap, and coming up with learning outcomes that align with business goals. Those things are not happening so much. We have a lot of a few, not a lot, but most organizations have their learning content, delivered to them by consultants who I've spoken to quite a number of them. They don't have, the required skill to design end-to-end learning using, for example, is the simple ADDIE framework. There's so much focus on facilitation and, just getting the content and ticking the box. And from my research, 4 out of 5 learning professionals don't have the skill to design learning from end to end, which of course is not up to global standard. And that is why I decided to come up with this initiative. And the things we do in the community are, first of all, we have e-learning and ID workshops, which means we have workshops in which we teach people about learning theories, learning principles, instructional design principles and theories and methodologies. We have workshops in which we teach them about learning technologies in learning development. For example, using the last class we had, we taught the people in the community how to use Genially to design an interactive, scenario-based course, and it was amazing. I'm going to be sharing with us some of the results of that. One of the things that we also do in this community is that we do mentoring and coaching. We give opportunity to people who have some skill better than others, mostly leaders in organizations, team leads, and head of learning, to mentor those that are coming up. Either they're trying to upskill or they're trying to become e-learning designers, to mentor them. We have the community where we support ourselves. You can ask questions and all that. We have knowledge sharing and conferences. The knowledge sharing comes in form of webinars where we invite global leaders in L&D to come and talk to us about new trends, talk about how things should be done. We've had someone come to talk to us about how to adopt AI in learning for effective learning design. We have someone come to talk to us about starting a freelancing business in learning and in e-learning. We've had someone come to talk to us about different things. And the next webinar that we're going to have someone talk to us about data, how you can gather data and tell your L&D story. These are the kind of topics that we talk about to give awareness about current, trends in e-learning, and we inspire ourselves to win. One of the things that we do, if you check our website, that's the QR code there. You could scan it to check our website when you have the time to, is to showcase African e-learning professionals that are trailblazing. We have quite a few of them, and this is to inspire other people to learn from their story, read about them, follow them, and also we have some of them being mentors in the community. The idea is to help people see the possibilities in learning and development, especially in terms of adopting technology, so that they can aspire to be like them. And what our major focus, even though L&D is so wide, our major focus in this community is the adoption of technology to enhance learning designs. I'm going to be talking next now about our impact. If you have any question, please feel free to put in the chat, please. So I'm going to be talking now about the impact that we've had. I can tell you for a fact that this initiative actually started a few months ago. We had our first webinar in November. So the initiative started in October. That is about 5 months. And these are the impacts that we have had as a community. So this is Olama. She's an L&D professional in Nigeria. And she said that the Elite Hub Africa has inspired me to explore e-learning design, which I didn't have clarity on before now. As a learning and development specialist, creativity in content design is an integral aspect of my role. Also, the webinar sessions I attended have given me a clearer perspective on training delivery methods, which I applied in my current role. Being a part of Elite Hub has expanded my knowledge in L&D. That is wonderful, isn't it? Jonathan says, being in the e-learning designers hub has simplified edtech for me. My interest in e-learning development has been boosted, and I am inspired by Bekomola's commitment and mentoring. And we have here Philip. Philip says the Elite Hub has had a significant impact on me. It's been a structured learning journey for me. The Hub has created a supportive community, and I have benefited from one-on-one coaching session where I received valuable feedback on my assignments on new tools such as Genially. I have also gained practical skills and insights into the e-learning field. I am now empowered to pursue my dreams in EdTech, contributing to both individual and organizational growth. Thank you, Elite Hub, for providing an excellent experience. Grace says, the Elite Hub has been so helpful in building my wealth of knowledge and helping me identify the skills I need to be able to achieve my career development goal. It has made me realize how tech infusion can increase the learning experience of people. Beautiful. And then we have Yoki. Yoki says, the Elite Hub provided me with the opportunity to mentor aspiring learning professionals in the community. This has given me fulfillment that comes from impacting others with my skill and experience. And Bolanle says, it's been an amazing experience joining the Elite Hub. Bekamola's passion to impact others with the knowledge she has is quite commendable. In just a few weeks of joining and attending the workshops, I can boldly say that my EdTech skills have significantly improved. You know, this makes me feel really, really good about the impact that we are making, which is the purpose of the of this community. This is the purpose of starting this community, and I'm so happy that we have been able to make this much impact in such a period of time. And you can imagine what is going to happen as we continue doing this. So I'm going to talk now about partnership opportunities. You know, we've had quite a number of global leaders in L&D partner with us in delivering webinar sessions free of charge, because this is a free community where you don't have to pay for to be part of it. We've had people partner with us because one thing we identified, like I said earlier, as a challenge is that there is a massive knowledge and skill gap, and there's a need for us to develop L&D capabilities, especially in relation to the adoption of e-learning. Adoption of technology to create effective learning solutions, effective learning interventions that will help us to be able to achieve measurable goals, as well as, increase return on investment. And one thing about the African firms is that it's all about the return on investment. They want to know, how is learning going to impact on our ROI? They see learning more as a cost rather than an investment. And what we are trying to change that narrative, we're trying to change that impression that they have by making them see how learning can actually help them increase their return on investment, especially when learning is designed with, learners being with a focus on the learners. You are sure of the learners gap. You understand how this affects, aligns with your business goals. And, when you start from that point, you're definitely going to get your results. And like I said, partnership with global leaders to be part of our sessions. In our workshops, we have just a few people, in this workshop space, teaching people how to use different tools. And this is another partnership that we're having with people. Other partnership opportunities are conference participation. We're going to be having our first virtual conference in May. And in this conference, we intend to bring together learning technology providers globally to come and meet with heads of learning and development in Africa, to come and meet with the decision makers, for them to see how their solutions can help in transforming organizations and transforming the economy of the African organizations. And so that is for the conference participation. And going beyond during the conference and going beyond the conference, we're also looking at partnership opportunities with learning technology providers. For example, LMS, technology providers, authoring to technology providers, because most of the authoring tools that we have there are very expensive to use, especially when you are just learning. We need, the learners need encouragement to have access to these, technologies for the time that they are learning. We actually have a bootcamp that is coming up to help people actually. Thank you for that, Daryl. Thank you. We have a bootcamp that is coming up very soon to help people become LMS administrators, because there is a need, a great need for LMS, qualified and qualified LMS administrators who are very good at what they do. We need to help people upskill to become that. We need to help people upskill to become e-learning designers. So these are partnership opportunities that are open to people and to organizations that may want to partner with us. So I'll go to my next slide. I'm trying to rush because of the time. So I've said so much about the community. I've said so much about the initiative. I've said so much about myself. And I just want us to reflect now on what we have listened to. Let's reflect about what we have learned. What have you really learned about the African organizations today? If you want to put in the chat, I'll appreciate that. What have you learned? And what does this say to you? To me, like I said, there's so much of, need for us to have knowledge and skill development in people. And one of the things I want us to take from here, even though I'd like to hear from you, is the fact that, we're also experiencing similar challenges with global organizations, like adoption of technology. People still want to do their face-to-face learning. People want to socialize and all that. We have the issue of the demography, the particular demographic not wanting to be involved in learning. And, these are common issues. And we also have our own peculiar issues as well. And one thing I want us to take from this is to have us inspired. Okay, somebody says that L&D is seen as a cost, not an investment. Fantastic. Thank you for that. Go Ginger Learning. That is very, very, very true. It's seen as a cost and not an investment. And one of the things that I want us to take from this session in our reflection is the fact that, from my experience transitioning from the events industry to EdTech, I want us to be inspired by that. If there's anyone here, I know that there's so much talk about teachers, educators transitioning into instructional design, e-learning design, because they already have some basic knowledge of instructional design. Apart from the 1 year experience that I had teaching at the Nigerian Naval Base for 1 year, of which I did not get any training for it, I don't have any training as a school educator. And I was able to successfully transition into the EdTech. Of course, there are skills, transferable skills that have helped me like project management, that data analysis, design, ability to design, because as an event designer, I used to design floor space with softwares, to present to my clients before we agree on what to do. My experience as an interior designer, I was using a software to design spaces to present. So I had some graphic design experience as well. I had experience of leading people, relating with subject matter. Well, in this case, they are not subject matter experts, but they were my there were people that I had to relate with. I had stakeholders to relate with, which was part of the skills that I did as a project manager to be able to function as an instructional designer. So be encouraged if you're thinking of transitioning to tech. And one of the things that people also think is that, oh, I'm too old to start learning new things. I can tell you for sure that I transitioned to tech when I was 42 years of age. So do not let age limit you. Don't believe that you can't do. If you set your mind to achieve this, you can. All right. Okay. In the chat here, somebody says their reflection is that the power of community and connection. Amazing. Thank you for that, Zara. Zara CJ. You also said, especially with technologies enabling us to connect easily globally, that we need to make the most of learning from each other. Fantastic. That is very, very true. Thank you for that, Zara. Thank you for that. So another thing that I want us to take from this session is the fact that if you have a dream that keeps you awake at night, go for it. Just start and take one step at a time. When I thought of, starting this initiative, it felt really, really overwhelming, because I was thinking, how do I start? How do I connect with learning people in the learning and development, space in Africa? How do I do this? But then I just started, and things started unfolding day after day, and we are where we are now. And I can tell you for sure, we started in like 5 months ago, but we have up to 100 members who are committed, who are attending webinars and involved in workshops, who are learning from the community. And that is because I took the step to start. There were times that I'll think of what I need to do, and I just won't be able to sleep at night, But I now had to get to a point where I decided to work on a goal, create like the goal, sprints for my goals. This is what we're going to achieve in the next 1 month. This is what we're going to achieve in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, 1 year, and then started just putting the pieces together, and here we are. And you can check our website. One moment. So if you go to our website, this brings me to the end of my presentation. So thank you so much for listening to me about the initiative in Africa, championing e-learning in Africa. So to the right of this screen, you'll see this QR code that takes you to our website to see what we're doing. And if you want to connect with us on LinkedIn, you can use the QR code on the left. So if you have any questions for me, I'm open to that.
Fantastic. Any questions then? Do drop them in the chat. Looks like we've got a couple of people wanting to get involved, which is great.
Oh, amazing.
Lots of really interesting stuff. We'll give it just a moment whilst they're delaying the chat works through. Thank you. Very insightful session. Thank you. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Jane. Go Ginger Learning. Thank you.
Daryl, sounds like a super amazing initiative. Sign me up. There we are.
Thank you, Daryl. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all for joining us for this session. Do continue the conversation down in the comments. Leave your thoughts, anything you might want to get involved in. Question coming through here.
Okay.
What reporting models, measures, and metrics do you use to prove the value of learning to those firms super critical of ROI?
Thank you for that question, Chris Hodgson. So there are different reporting models and metrics that you can use. You know what I would like to say to you? Come and join our community and you'll be able to learn all of this. So I know there is XAPI. You want to ensure that when you're creating your content, you create them as either SCORM or XAPI formats. And then the use of LMS very much helps in getting your reporting done. Okay. If you want to ensure that you're able, you don't have to do it manually, you want to make sure you have a learning experience platform or learning management platform that has the XAPI feature in it, that helps you to be able to gather your data, and then you can do your reporting and all that. But if you want to learn more about, and having to prove the value of your learning to firms, you said that what reporting models do you use to prove the value of learning to those firms super critical of ROI? So, like I said, so apart from the fact that you want to have your learning design in such a way that you can gather your data, data is king. Your data is going to help you. You need to also, of course, you're going to be working with the accounting department to understand how much is being invested into learning, and then measuring how much, the behaviors of people are changing. And when people's behaviors change, it's going to affect how your revenue increase. And from that, you can really, it's not something that has a particular formula to do, but you have to go through a process. And that is one of the things we're actually doing that is one topic that we're going to be handling in our next webinar that is happening on the first Thursday of March. We have our webinars the first Thursday of every month. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll say come join us. Check out our website, connect on LinkedIn to get more information about how to join. Thank you, Chris. I hope that answers your question.
Brilliant. Well, loads of great value there. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone joining in the chat. As I said before, hit the like button, get involved in the comments, and reach out via the QR codes on the screen to get involved in this fantastic initiative. We now have a short gap for lunch, or in my case, for meetings. Yay! The real world interrupts. And we are back at 1:30 GMT with Gabby for Free Up Their Minds, another kind of pivot conversation today. So I hope to see you all there, and thank you for being here this morning.
Hi, everyone. Bye.
iSpring is an e-learning software provider dedicated to streamlining e-learning worldwide. With a team of top industry specialists, they create tools that make e-learning both efficient and enjoyable. Their AI-powered course creation tool, iSpring Suite, and the iSpring Learn LMS are the top choices for thousands of instructional designers, L&D pros, and content developers. Crafted with the user workflow in mind, iSpring ensures a seamless experience for the creation of impactful learning content. Their website, ispringsolutions.com, offers a treasure trove of e-learning resources perfect for those seeking to boost their L&D career or elevate their organization's e-learning practices. You can check out the iSpring Solutions website using the link in the description below.